Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ali and I'm here today to do my haul revisit for February. So this is a stack of 12 books. I think as well I just bought quite a few in Feb as I did in Jan. I'll link that video below if you haven't seen it and you're interested in catching up. I am filming this video going on this little break in January. I was going to sort of hold off, but then I decided that no, I really did want the whole 2 weeks as a break, or 2 and a bit weeks. Also, I knew I wouldn't be reading any of these before this video would need to be posted. I have a lot that I need to finish in Jan, so I just don't see any of these happening then. But hopefully in February I will mark a few off. I mentioned in my January haul revisit that I don't have goals with these. I don't have to read all of them. I have a number that I have for the whole year and we're working towards that. It's only the middle of Jan, so I have no idea how I might be going with that at this point, but I'll be talking about that at the end of March anyway. So I will, as I did in that video, highlight the ones that I'm kind of interested in and that I think I might try and pick up this month. But again, because I'm filming this ahead, I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for, and how I've gone with my Jan reading also is going to depend if I get to any of these. So we're going to jump in. I have a few different piles, as you can kind of see here. Maybe a little bit of a theme, but definitely a color scheme. So I think you probably saw that in the thumbnail, but let's get into these. First up, I have 3 historical romances. Guess I was just in that mood at the time. Maybe. The only one that I actually bought in Feb was The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shupe. I think this is like a childhood friends to lovers thing. I had bought this for a video in which I did end up doing, in which I read a bunch of historical romance authors I'd never tried before. Just didn't end up getting around to this one. And honestly, this isn't that high up on my list right now. And then in a book box, I got Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall. I don't really want to talk about the book box. I never posted an unboxing of it. I filmed one, but it was so disappointing, and I really didn't have anything overly positive to say about that experience, and I just this one was just disappointing. I had another experience with them later in the year that was quite also disappointing, I guess is the word I would use. So anyway, I got this one. Did I even say the title? This is Something Fabulous by Alexis Hall. This is a queer historical romance. I mean, you can probably tell that by the front. So this is about Valentine Layton and his romantic interest. His name is Bonaventure Tarleton, or known as Bonnie. I don't know. Yeah. It seems cool. I've read one Alexis Hall before, Boyfriend Material, and if you saw my video about my friend picks, I'm also going to be reading A Lady for a Duke, which is also by Alexis Hall, in Feb. I might have already finished it. We'll see. You'll find out later. So probably won't get to this one in Feb because I will probably read some different authors, but I think I might probably end up saving this for Pride Month. It's one of those matte books though, and it's like, I don't know, it's got like smudges on it. And then I have Bombshell by Sarah MacLean. This was an adventure. So originally I had ordered this when it was due out, I think in like September of 2021. Yes, September of 2021. And I had ordered it, and so had my best friend Angel, because we both really like Sarah MacLean. And then we both had our orders cancelled because of the like paper shortage that was going on. I don't know if it's still going on. I haven't seen anything about it in a while. But they were cancelled, and then we made another order that was also cancelled. And then it was, yeah, we just had a hell of a time trying to find this. And I managed, I think in December, to make an order for the two of us that finally wasn't cancelled. And this finally rocked up in Feb. I've talked about recently that I'm just not in a historical romance mood at the moment. I'm hoping that I'm kind of slowly sliding back into that. And we'll see. I do believe the second book is already out, or is coming out. I don't even know. I think it's out. And so I would really like to get to this one. The last Sarah MacLean I read was middle of last year, I think, and I really didn't like it. So I'm kind of nervous about this one, but we'll see. And then jumping in, I have some non-fiction. First up, I have Essential Essays, Culture, Politics, and the Art of Poetry. I'd honestly never read anything by her, like not even a single essay before I bought this. I don't really know why I decided to do that. I did actually start it and read the first essay, I think, or yeah, the first essay and the like intro to it, and was already very impressed, but also immediately got the impression that I was gonna have to read each essay a few times before I really clicked onto it. So I haven't come back to this, and I did notice that the next essay is about Jane Eyre, and I am currently studying Jane Eyre for like the 4th time in a class, so it sounds like this essay might actually be helpful for the essay I have to write in a few weeks. So I'll probably give this one a little bit more of a go, and I don't know, I feel like this one may take me a little while. It's kind of large, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to read them over a few times. On the same day, from the same bookstore, I also got Just Kids by Patti Smith. I love Patti Smith. I have read many of her books, I think 4 or so, maybe even 5, and I have really enjoyed most of them. I think there was one that I didn't love, and this was the one that was next on my list of I have to read Just Kids, because that was the one that I'd heard people talk about, and was the reason I picked up the others, because I wanted to read her and I just couldn't find a copy of this. This is the illustrated edition that came out, I think, more recently. This I managed to get, I think it was for about $20 or so, because there's a tiny bit of a coffee stain on the side, and that's really the only issue there. I did read a sizable chunk of this, 136 pages worth. It's a tough book. This is about Patti Smith's relationship with the artist Robert Mapplethorpe. I've done my very best to avoid really knowing too much, apart from the fact that he did die, because that comes up in a lot of her other books, and it is clearly something that really affected her. I don't really know any background to that, and I want to keep it that way. But this is filled with this sense of sort of foreboding discomfort, because it's knowing as well that he was quite young, and it was sort of early in Patti Smith's career. It's the sense that it's coming, it's just don't really know when. So it's a little hard to read. It's also just really heavy, and it can be just like a bit tiring to sort of sit here and hold it open. Now that I'm talking about it, I do really want to get back to it, and maybe I will try and do that this month. Now we're going to go into the children's and YA, as well as a few adult things, and that will wrap this up. First one, I have one middle grade, and that is The Map Makers. There you go, by Tamsin Merchant. This is the sequel to The Hat Makers, is that right? Yes. I had just read that one somewhat recently when I bought this, and I don't really remember anything about it now. Usually what I end up doing with middle grade is I will wait until the whole series is out if I've read the first book and known that I really, really enjoyed it, and then I will just wait for the other books to come out and then read them all in close succession, because otherwise I just forget, and when I reread things, if I don't have the next book ready, then I will just immediately forget again. And then if it's a trilogy, the third one comes out and then I've got to reread the first two again because I can't remember what happened, and it's a whole thing. So this one's probably not going to happen this month either. Then I have A Layer of Bones by Helen Shara. I honestly thought that I had bought this book way before February. I don't know. I assume that it is one that I bought in Feb, but I just feel like it was one that I'd had for ages. This one I think is like a siren, well, it's called Curse of the Siren Queen, so it's a siren-y sort of thing, and I've heard good things about it. Haven't really thought about it since. I think I put this on my Indie Accords TBR. I want to get to this, but I don't really have a particular month in mind. It'll just be if I'm ever feeling up to this, I'll pick it up. I do have one or two other sort of siren-y books on my TBR, one of which I have started, so I should probably finish that one off before I move on to something else. Then I have my book from Fable Crate, which was called The Night Fasts the Wolves by Meg Long. This is a really pretty little one here with its sort of wreath kind of thing going on there. I honestly kind of forgot that I did have a few of these books from Fable Crate left, and that I was planning to do a video with that, but bringing this one up reminds me that I did say I would do that, so maybe I will try and aim for that March or April, so that I do have time to read a couple of them, and I'll talk more about it then. Next we go into the adult, and I have Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. So I bought this one in a queer bookshop. I started reading it, enjoyed what I read, put it down, and then during that time, apparently I said something about it that was interesting to a number of people, including Meredith and Tracy, who have both mentioned that they bought this book because of what I said and because I featured it, and I still haven't finished it. I am 108 pages in. About 2 weeks ago, I did actually restart this, and I just kind of flicked through what I'd read because I actually ended up remembering way more than I thought I did. And now I'm about at that stage that I finished again. So I do want to push forward with this one. I'm going to try and read a little bit more of it in January, but this might be one that I do try and get to in Feb. Now we are on to the last 3. I wonder if you've picked up on the colour scheme yet, but this is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. I think I bought this one on release day. I seem to remember doing that. I actually liked the first one, and I am not a Sarah J Maas fan. So I was super excited for this one. I started reading it, I read 40 pages, was gonna do a whole vlog of it, and I haven't picked it up since. And I honestly, picking this up off my shelf now, I really don't know if I'm actually interested in reading it anymore. It's so huge, and I just don't know that I care. Like, I think it's been too long since I read the first one, and I really don't want to reread that one. So I think I might end up getting rid of this one. I'm not really sure. I have a plan to unhaul some things and do a video about that in March, so I might leave it until then and decide at that time whether I think that I am actually interested in it or not. And the last 2 I wanted to flag because I am saving them for Eurovision-a-thon. Obviously I got them in February last year, so a few months before Eurovision-a-thon started, and then I ended up swapping these 2 out for other things on my shelves. But I have 3 Summers by Margarita Liberaki, which is set in Greece. Yeah, and I think it's just before the Second World War. And I had read a book for Eurovision-a-thon that was basically the same thing, but in Italy, and I just didn't really feel like reading 2 of those very similar books in such a short period of time. But I do plan on saving this for my book for Greece this year. And then I also had I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, which is set in Romania in 1989. And again, had planned to read that for Romania last year, and ended up switching it out for something and then not even finishing that one. So I do have, again, 2 options this year, and we'll see which one I end up picking up. But that is it for today, and I'm sure you've all guessed that our color scheme today was like blues. I just thought that was kind of interesting when I was picking these things off my shelf. I was like, oh, I have a lot of blue covers here. I was maybe just sort of feeling that in Feb, maybe, who knows. But for now, that's it. I hope you're all doing super well, and I will see you guys in a couple of days to let you know what I did read over my little break. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you then. Bye.